Hello everyone, my name is Douglas C. Welch and this is A Gardener's Notebook. Welcome to my garden, as much as it appears to be right now. This is the first in a series of shows that I'm going to start doing for A Gardener's Notebook, which highlights some of the interesting stuff I come across on the internet. Now, if you follow me on Twitter or Facebook or Pinterest, you may notice that I do share a lot of interesting gardening items, but I don't often get a chance to really discuss why I found them so interesting. So that's what this show is going to be all about. I hope you find these shared items useful, and I'd love to hear which you find most useful and why you find them useful. That'd really help me to know what other neat things I should be finding and passing on to you. Also, if you have any great shared items of your own, please send me your Pinterest account, your Twitter account, let me know who you are, and let me know where you're sharing some of the great gardening stuff on the web. Enough said, on with the show. So, for today's show, we're going to be using my Pinterest account. I think it's great for this type of show because it's very visual. Now, if you visit pinterest.com/Douglas Welch, my name, you'll see all the things that I share on Pinterest. Now, what we're going to do today, though, is we're going to focus on the garden board over here. We're going to click garden and see what recently I've shared. Our first item here is actually some pictures from the Southern California Spring Garden Show, which we visited at Costa Mesa, California last weekend. There are some amazing gardens. They had 6, I believe, design gardens there, and this is one called Healing Waters. And if you can't really see very clearly here, it was a little bit dark and kind of high contrast with the sunshine coming down there, but this huge stone tabletop has a fountain built into it. It bubbles up here by these river rocks, flows down through the middle of the table into a large pottery urn at the end. I thought this was amazing and would love this in my own garden. I can't imagine, though, how difficult it would be to actually ship something that heavy anywhere around the US. Next, I came across a lot of interesting garden markers, and these you can use in your containers or actually in your garden beds itself. I've been looking for some interesting ideas to use here in my garden, and this particular article had a plethora of them. You can see here one which simply uses standard everyday spring clothespins. If you click through to the article from the Everyday Home, you'll see that they have a host of different methods of labeling plants in your garden, including stamped silverware, stamped lids, the clothespin one you saw before, simply putting a mason jar over top of the existing seed packet, and this one here, which is a series of twigs which have then been rubber stamped with the names of the plants. I've actually done something similar to that myself. You basically take a bandsaw or the saw and carve a small portion of the twig away, and in my case I used an ultrafine Sharpie, and I've also seen wood burning used to put the names of the plants on there. Third today is a photographer's garden blog by David Perry. As you can see from this example photo, he has some amazing photos of his garden and gardens that he visits. Highly recommended if you just want to kind of dream about some of the amazing gardens that exist out there in the world today. Number 4 is this interesting little tip. Basically, if you're looking to convert an area of a lawn or perhaps an area of your garden that isn't being currently used for production, one interesting way of doing that is by using just simply bags of topsoil opened up on their top and then also have some drain holes underneath and plant directly into them. By the end of the season, and when you harvest these plants, the grass beneath the topsoil will have died out and couldn't be pulled out. Then you can simply dump the topsoil into the spot left by the turf, or if it's in a garden bed, just mix it in with the garden bed, and you've improved your garden beds while killing off most of the weeds that live there. I have some areas in my garden. I don't have any lawn, but I do have some unused areas and even some parts of paths that I want to start using, and I think this would be a great way of getting them started. It would kill off all the weeds, any grass that does pop up there, and then I'd be ready to go next season round. Now, if you follow me on A Gardener's Notebook, you may have noticed for the last 3 months, I've been highlighting a photo each month to be used as a computer desktop wallpaper, wallpaper for your iPad or other tablet, and wallpaper for your iPhone or other smartphone. This is this month's picture, Garden Face, which I again took at the Southern California Spring Garden Show. All 3 formats are available to you there, pre-designed for your computer, your iPad, or your iPhone, and you can simply download them to your device, add them to your wallpaper, and enjoy a little bit of my garden, or at least gardens I've visited, each month. We're always looking to propagate more plants in our garden in simple ways, and Grow Your Own Sweet Potatoes is actually a great little photo guide on how to do just that. Simply using sweet potatoes that you pick up at the supermarket, although of course you can go out and get some higher quality, finer seed sweet potatoes at your local nursery, you can actually simply cut it in half, put it in water for a little while. It'll make little slips, little plants growing out of each sweet potato, which you can then break off, plant up, and use them to grow sweet potatoes right in your own garden. Now, it happens every so often we have a potato or a sweet potato left over in our kitchen, and you know what? The next time I can, I'm going to try this exact trick to grow some potatoes and sweet potatoes in my garden. Probably going to use either bins, or as you may have seen in other of my shared items, there's also a way of growing potatoes and other root vegetables in a tower of soil, if you will. You can use a trash can, or you can also use perhaps a little bit of fencing with some straw inside of it. Plant your tuber in the bottom of that, and then slowly add soil as the plant grows, and it should put potatoes or sweet potatoes right in that column of soil, so that by the end of the season you simply open up the wire or dump the barrel out and harvest your potatoes. Here in my garden, I have a lot of shade. We have tons and tons of mature trees, and there's some areas in the area I call the woodland garden that could really benefit from some ground cover. So I'm always looking for ground covers that work in dry, shady areas, one of the most difficult places of any garden. This article from Native Plants and Wildlife Gardens actually contains a host of ideas for various ground covers that you can use in your area, including natives from around the U.S. I'm looking through this list already. The one that caught my eye immediately was the bunchberry. I need to see if it'll grow here in California, but definitely I love the look of it, and I think it would work very well under my trees. Here's another great idea, although I question where you'd be able to find these old wooden soda pop cases. I remember them from my childhood, but I don't think they're as available as they once used to be. That said, any divided case like this would provide a similar look for growing these succulents in their own little compartments. I love the way it looks and would have a perfect place in any container garden. And finally, here is a great reuse idea for any old bicycle wheels you may have lying around. This person has created a trellis for, I believe it looks like sweet peas that are going to grow up on this, simply by mounting their leftover bicycle wheels to a wooden fence. I love the idea, and I love using and recycling equipment that would otherwise just be thrown into a landfill. I hope you found this Shared Items podcast useful. If you'd like to follow us on all of our shared items on any of the social networks where we exist, you can visit the website and you'll find links to all of them right in the right-hand sidebar. You can subscribe to this podcast via iTunes, follow us on Twitter at Gardener's Notebook, follow us on Facebook. Google Plus has a Gardener's Notebook page, and you can also follow us on Pinterest. Thanks for watching A Gardener's Notebook today. I hope it's been useful to you and entertaining. Please leave your comments on any of the places where A Gardener's Notebook exists, including on our blog, of course, at welchwright.com/AGN. That's WELCHWRITE.com/AGN. On our Twitter account as for @replies, or on our Facebook page, wherever you see us. We'll also have a Google Plus page now, and you can find us by searching for A Gardener's Notebook. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next time. Until then, keep digging.